I got a question. So you mentioned that in response to the current financial crisis, the key response was given by nation states rather than international organizations.
Yeah.
So, so in Stiglitz's article, he said nowadays we have so many global challenges, and if we want to make globalization work, we need to fix them. And so
we need to fix what?
Fix, say, various problems like climate change, environmental pollution.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you think the answer that we, or the way that we can fix these problems will be nation states or international organizations? Because if you look back at history, World Bank, IMF, and United Nations are all creators of the efforts of international community to address crisis 50 years ago. Now, 50 years later, we find that these organizations are not functioning well. So now we have a new set of challenges. So I'm wondering, 50 years later, from now on, what we have?
Well, that's a very good point, but good question. My own view, you know, I wrote another book about international questions dealing with global security threats called Containment, where I argue that we should be in the business of strengthening international institutions, at least international security institutions, for some of the reasons you mentioned, and also because I think that to the extent that we have to operate internationally to reduce global security threats, we'll be neither effective nor legitimate unless we act through international institutions and international regional organizations. So I agree with Stiglitz in that sense, that you really need strengthened international institutions. But the realist in me says the only way you're going to get it is if national governments perceive it to be in their interest to strengthen international institutions. Because if national governments don't perceive it to be in their interest to strengthen international institutions, they're not going to do it. And at the end of the day, it's the national governments that have the armies, not the international governments. You know, people talk, for instance, about not the international institutions. People, I'll just give one more example and then come to Ruta. People say, oh, you know, the Chinese have got us where they want us now because we're so dependent on Chinese debt. But it's far from clear that in the absence of presenting a military threat, they could actually force us to do anything.